Iolani.
Aloha, ahi, everyone. Hawaiian Toe Frederick Union Field presents Stadium Stars ILOH action between the St. Louis Crusaders and the Iolani Raiders. I'm Robert Rabideau bringing you action for tonight's game. And there you take a look at the coin toss on the field. And there you take a look at number 27 for Iolani. That is KJ Pasquale. He is the leading rusher for Iolani with 673 yards with 13 touchdowns. And if Iolani manages to pull the upset in this game, they're going to have to rely on this young man's tenacity to get into the end zone really, really quick. And on the other side of the coin, there you take a look at the almighty, that would be Mr. Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa for St. Louis, who
Iolani
next season is going to be a member of the Alabama Crimson Tide. And he is the star, and basically he is going to be the impact player for St. Louis for tonight's game. It should be an exciting action as this is round one of the inaugural ILH playoff game between the St. Louis Crusaders and the Iolani Raiders. And there you take a look at the Iolani team under the guidance of Wendell Look, a name that I've said quite a few times over the years here at Loa Stadium. Wendell Look is just, I think he can pull off perhaps the upset over the Crusaders. And on the other side of the coin, St. Louis is usually led by their head man, Cal Lee. However, Cal Lee is not going to be the head coach tonight. It will be Wesley Tufaga who will be the interim head coach tonight for the Crusaders. It should be exciting action here. Here at Hawaiian Toe Frederick Union Field here at Loa Stadium, and we're going to have just some start of tonight's first game of tonight's doubleheader. St. Louis and Iolani, and it should be lots of fun tonight. St. Louis there, the set to kick off for St. Louis is number 31. That's Jacob Tobias. He is the star kicker for St. Louis, who every time that St. Louis needs a field goal, he is basically guaranteed points for the Crusaders. Iolani will receive the ball first, and let's get ready to go as referee Cal Evans is set to signal, and here we go with the kickoff. High kick, and just sails into the end zone. Number 1, that is Helen Baldomero, just says, all right, touchback. And we're going to get started here with Iolani taking the field first. And leading the Raiders tonight is number 6, Tyjon Mizutani, the quarterback for the Raiders, who comes into this game with a total of 11 touchdowns. And for him to do well, I think it should be he'll need to get out early and often. Iolani set with the 4 wide receiver set. The man in motion is number 21. Picks the handoff, and nope, he gets the ball, but unfortunately he gets caught in the background. That's number 27, Pasquale, and St. Louis manages to converge early as we check it out here in the replay. Gets the handoff to Pasquale. Pasquale gets in there, but he gets stopped. I believe that's number 41 for the Crusaders that makes the stop. The loss of 1 in that play brings up 2nd 11, ball on the 19-yard line. 11:53 here, and as we are just getting underway here at Aloha Stadium. And actually the quarterback is number 12. That's Jaron Yokogawa, as we see him getting the snaps early here for tonight. Jaron Yokogawa comes into this game with 36 out of 98 for 366 yards. And Iolani showing the 5 wide receiver set. They got Iolani player running on the field. And here we go. 2nd 11, ball on the 19-yard line. Yokogawa in the shotgun. Waits a snap from center. Man in motion is number 3. That is LeBoy in motion. Hand the ball once again. And Pasquale gets up to the 29-yard line. Making the stop for the Crusaders is number 49. That is Michael Malapai making the stop. As we check it out here once again. Basic 2 running plays to Pasquale, and they are trying to establish the running game early. And Pasquale gets stopped just short of the first down. Brings up 3rd and 1, ball at the 29-yard line. Yokogawa in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers this time as Pasquale is the lone setback. St. Louis is showing blitz. Yokogawa passes in. It is caught by Pasquale. Pasquale gets out of the 40, the 45, and gets brought down at the 47-yard line. Making the stop for St. Louis is number 40. That's Noah Purcell as we check it out here once again. As there, you take a look at the short pass. Number 23 for Iolani was the man that caught it, and that's Justin Genovia that makes the catch and gives Iolani a first down. Back to live action. Pasquale gets the handoff. Gets up to perhaps maybe the 50-yard line. Making the stop for St. Louis is number 9 for the Crusaders, and that is Isaiah Fury making the stop. Gain of 4 for Pasquale on that play. Brings up 2nd and 6. Ball on the St. Louis 49-yard line. Yokogawa driving early as Iolani is on the St. Louis side of the field. 5 wide receivers, empty backfield. Man in motion is number 2. That is Nishigawa in the man in motion. And the ball is caught by Pasquale. Pasquale tries to get to the outside, but is immediately met by the St. Louis defender, and that is number 22 for St. Louis. That is Rick Sandry as we check it out here once again. Pasquale trying to make something out of it early, but he gets stopped after a short 4-yard reception. Yokogawa again in the shotgun. Brings up 3rd and 9. Ball at the... This time, this was a loss. They're back on their own side of the field, 48-yard line. And there we take a look for wide receiver set. Yokogawa back to pass. He fires it down the middle. It is caught by number 21 for Iolani. That is Drake Shikimura that makes the catch. As we check it out here once again. Yokogawa establishing his passing early and simple post pattern toward the middle. And that, as you see right there, is a first wine bank first down. 1st and 10. 9:22 remains here in the first quarter. As we're getting underway here. Hand the ball to Pasquale. Pasquale gets maybe up to the 41-yard line before being brought down by number 9. That would be Isaiah Fury once again. As we check out here once again. They're just basically trying to establish running, and they get in there and gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10, ball at the 41-yard line. Yokogawa in the shotgun. He waits to stop from center. 5 wide receiver set, empty backfield. Yokogawa goes back to pass. He looks off to his right, fires it down the middle, and it's intercepted. And that would be number 21 for the Crusaders that makes the interception. That is Jalen Saoli that gets the first turnover of the game for the Crusaders. And I just think simply Yokogawa just let the ball fly, and unfortunately his receiver went one way and the ball went into Jalen Saoli's hands, and thus giving the Crusaders their first possession of the first half. Tua Tagovailoa, again, set to go to Alabama next year, has the ball spotted at their own 44-yard line. 1st and 10. Tua waits to snap from center. He looks. He fires. It is caught by number 83 for St. Louis. That is Makoa Close that makes the reception. Making the stop for Iolani is number 1, Helen Baldomero that makes the stop. Tua just trying to establish his passing early. Gets it out there to Close, and about a 5-yard reception for that last play. Tua again back to pass. He looks. He fires it down the field. It's caught by number 3. That's Chandler Washington Villanueva, but I think they're going to bring it ball back as there's a flag on the field.
Holding, offense number 74, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Calvin says number 74, Michael Tanuvasa, guilty of the hold. As we take a look at once again, Tua gets out of there, but there is 74 kind of like, okay. But Washington Villanova had a good reception, but unfortunately the ball, it's a huge penalty as they are marking it back at the 31-yard line. And that's like a loss of 18 on that play. Brings up 3rd and 23, ball at their own 31-yard line. Tua in the shotgun, 4 wide receivers. The ball is handed off. I believe this is Ronson Young. And Ronson Young gets up to perhaps the 43-yard line. Gain of 12 for Ronson Young in that play. And Bo Domero makes the stop as we check out here once again. Ronson Young, over 100 yards rushing in the season, tries to get out of there. And he has the speed, but he gets perhaps half the yardage back there. 3rd and 11, ball at the 43-yard. 2-0 once again back to pass. And just out of the outstretched hands of his intended receiver, Washington Villanueva. And that will be 4th down. Covering for Iolani in that play is number 2, Kawa Nishigaya, making the coverage in that play. 4th and 11, and they're wasting no time by sending the punting unit out onto the field. Noah Alejandro set to punt the ball for the Crusaders. And back to receive for the Raiders is number 1, Baldemero, as well as Nishigaya. They're at the 25-yard line. Alejandro kicks it, and it is fielded by the Raiders at the 29-yard line. That's about a 28-yard punt. No return for Noah Alejandro. Yokogawa leads his team back on the field for the next possession. They have the ball 1st and 10, ball at the 30-yard line. Yokogawa in the shotgun, an empty backfield. 5 wide receivers. St. Louis perhaps showing blitz as Pascual gets the handoff. And he gets met immediately by the Crusaders as perhaps a 1-yard loss. Number 26 for St. Louis, Dylan Toilolo, that makes the stop. Brings up 2nd and 10. They are saying that he got back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10, ball at the Iolani 30-yard line. 9:56 remains here in the first quarter as we're just getting underway here at Aloha Stadium. Yokogawa back to pass. He looks, he fires. It is caught by number 23 for Iolani. That is Geno Vea, and he gets up to perhaps the 42-yard line. Gain of 11 on that play as it brings up 1st and 10, ball at the 42-yard line. Yokogawa, he has momentum going on the side. Empty backfield once again. He waits a snap from center. Yokogawa goes back to pass. He looks, he fires. It is caught, but I think they're saying that he didn't have possession of it as Genovia couldn't handle it as the ball falls incomplete. Yokogawa, I guess Taija Mizutani is hurt, and that's why we're seeing Yokogawa in the game. Brings up 2nd and 10, ball at the 42-yard line. Yokogawa in the shotgun. Pascual gets the handoff. Pascual gets up to the ball at the 45 and gets brought down at the 46-yard line. Breaking the stop for the Crusaders is number 35. That would be Kahai Ald making the stop for the Crusaders. Gain of 4 for Pascual in that play. Brings up 3rd and 6. Yokogawa in the shotgun. 4 wide receivers. Pascual the lone setback. Crusaders is showing blitz as he goes back to pass once again. Fires it and almost intercepted once again. Number 22 for the Crusaders. That is Rick Sandry, the Johnny on the spot that almost had another interception for St. Louis. And that will bring up 4th down and the first punt for Iolani in this game. And we're going to have a quick stop here. As referee Cal Evans said, we're going to keep going here. 4th down, 6, ball on the 46-yard line. Good bounce for Iolani as they're just letting the St. Louis just said, yeah, you can down it, and they're going to down it at the 17-yard line. LeBoy downs it there for Iolani, and that will give St. Louis their second possession of the game. 5:40 remains here in the first quarter, as we're just getting underway in the inaugural ILH Division I playoff game here at the stadium. The winner of tonight's game plays the winner of the second game, which is Kamehameha Punahou, coming up in the second game here of our doubleheader. Two in the shotgun, 4-wide receiver set. Ball is handed off. I believe that is Ronson Young once again. And Ronson Young gets up to perhaps about the 23-yard line. Credit 5 on that play as he brings up 2nd and 5, ball at the 22-yard line. Two in the shotgun, 4-wide receiver set. Tua waits the snap from center. Iolani is coming as Tua gets out of it, tries to dance around, gets up to the 25, the 30, gets around, breaks the tackle, gets out to maybe about the 32-yard line. Making the stop for Iolani is number 4. That is Taylor Spencer making the stop as we check it out here once again. Tua, also the leading rusher for the Crusaders, shows his versatility and showing why he's being sought after by the Alabama Crimson Tide. Tua, 1st and 10, ball at the own 32-yard line. Gets the snap, goes back to pass, fires it, and out of the outstretched hands of his intended receiver. That's number 5, Leland Oase, his intended receiver. Tua showing his versatility, trying to get out there, trying to get another receiver into his arsenal, and Oase unfortunately couldn't catch it and brings up 2nd down. 2nd and 10, ball at the 32-yard line. Tua in the shotgun, 4-wide receiver set. I believe Ronson Young is the lone setback as they fires it down the field, and Oase, it's picked off by the Raiders as number 35 for Iolani picks out Tua, and that would be Ryan Nishizaki making the interception. And he gets it back there, number 36. I'm sorry, that would be 36. Kyler Mineo that makes the interception as we check it out here once again. Only Tua's 5th interception of this season. And Mineo just says, thank you very much. Brings it back deep into the Crusader territory as they have it at the 35-yard line. Yokogawa once again in the shotgun, picks the hand up to Pasquale, gets it to the outside, and his receiver just gets leveled. That's number 23 that gets the reception. That is Genovia once again as we check it out here once again. Yokogawa, he's not afraid to pass it, and he just says, all right, as Jalen Saole says, aloha, welcome to Aloha Stadium. This is my house. Brings up 2nd and 7, ball at the 32-yard line. Yokogawa in the shotgun. Pasquale, the lone setback. Trips off to the near side as picks the handoff. No, he actually gives it to Pasquale. Pasquale gets up to the 30 before he's being pushed back. Number 42 for the Crusaders pushes him back. Or 48 pushes him back. That is Brendan Meyer as we check it out here once again. Pasquale gets in there, but Brendan Meyer just says, yeah, you're not getting any further than that. They're going to say he got up to the 29-yard line, brings up 3rd and 4, ball at the 29-yard line. 3:28 remains here in the first quarter as Yokogawa waits a snap from center. Empty backfield, trips off to the near side. Yokogawa, and out of the hands of his intended receiver, that's number 24, Hunter Cam, the intended receiver. Covering on that play is number 1, that is Brandon Moore, providing coverage on that play. That's Raiden Kaneshiro, that was the intended receiver in the last play. Brings up 4th and 4, and Wendell Look says, we're going to go for it here on 4th down. As Pasquale is the man in motion, he goes back to pass. Yokogawa goes back to pass. He fires it down the middle. It is caught, and that would be a 1st down. Again, number 34, Raiden Kaneshiro makes the reception. And Brandon Moore says, all right, we're going to get you here. but that will give Iolani another first down. Back to live action as Pasquale gets the handoff, gets down to perhaps about the 19-yard line. KJ Pasquale just showing his tenacity as he just gets in there for the Raiders. Yokogawa has it 2nd and 7, ball at the 18-yard line. He waits, snap center, empty backfield once again. Goes back to pass. He looks. He's going for it, and out of the, just overthrows his intended receiver. That's number 23, Genovia, once again. Justin Genovia is the leading receiver for the Raiders as he has a total of 58 receptions with 6 touchdowns as Yokogawa gets it out there and just overthrows him. Otherwise, that would have given Iolani on the board first for the first points of the game. 3rd and 7, ball at the 18-yard line. Yokogawa once again the shotgun. Pasquale the lone setback. 4 wide receivers. He waits to snap center. He goes back to pass. He looks. He fires. Intercepted once again. And he gets up to the 40, the 45, 50. He gets to the 40. And he goes all the way. 10. Touchdown. Oh, my. That is Noah Purcell getting the pick 6, taking the length of the field, and giving the Crusaders first blood here as we check it out here once again. Yokogawa back to pass, and he fires it. And Noah, it's just basically off to the races as Purcell, he literally could have walked the length of the field, and he just literally goes in there and gives the Crusaders first blood of the game. 6-0, St. Louis barring the extra point. Jacob Tobias set to try it. Extra point, it's up, and it's no good. As St. Louis, the score remains 6-0 over Iolani. Wesley Tufaga, the St. Louis interim head coach tonight. He just basically, he just has to shake his head as he's got to tell his team, good job, good defense, as, you know, he gets his team on the board first there. Basically, Iolani, Wendell looked, it just has to try to stop his quarterback from making these mistakes. And, you know, we're going to see what they can do on their next possession here. Jacob Tobias set to kick off once again at the 40-yard line. Number 1, Baldonado, as well as Nishigaya, back to receive. They're standing at about the 2, maybe about the 1-yard line. Wendell look, he first time, this is only the 3rd time Iolani's been here at Lewis Stadium this year. He's been a mainstay for Division II, but now that he's in Division I, he's seen the challenges of competing with St. Louis. As there we go, Jacob Tobias kid has a high kick once again, and it goes into the end zone, and we have our usual touchback for St. Louis. And then Iolani will start the ball at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. 2:07 remains here in the first quarter as Iolani comes back into the field. Yokogawa still the quarterback for Iolani as he just been making too many mistakes, but let's see what he can do here on his next possession. Yokogawa waits to snap for center, 4 wide receivers. Pasquale gets the handoff, gets up to about the 20-yard line before being brought down by number 35. And that would be Kahai all making the stop as we check it out here once again. I guess you could say Pasquale is, as I said, to the keys of the game. Pasquale will have to get established early and hope perhaps get Iolani in there for the first score. Pasquale, the man in motion. He goes back to pass. Yokogawa back to pass. He fires it. It's caught by number 9 for Iolani. And that's Brent Nagami making the catch. Making the stop for St. Louis is number 22. That's Rick Sandry making the stop as we check it out here once again. Yokogawa just tries to get out there, and he gets a good completion to his receiver, Nagami. And Nagami gets it short of first down. 3rd and 1, ball at the 29-yard line. Yokogawa once again the shotgun, empty backfield. St. Louis is coming, and just out of the outstretched hands of Nagami once again, his intended receiver. And that will be break up 4th down. Covering for St. Louis is Isaiah Tufaga covering on that play. Brings up 4th and 1, ball at the 29-yard line. Iolani will have their next punt. Evan Minami set to try the punt for Iolani, and takes a good Iolani bounce. St. Louis just says, we're going to let it bounce again. And it gets down at about the 26-yard line. 47-yard punt, no return, as St. Louis comes back on the field for the next possession. 44 seconds remains here in the first quarter as Tua leads his team back onto the field. Dylan James Silva, the setback with Tua in the backfield. As Tua gets a 4 wide receiver set, chips off to the far side. And the ball is handed out to Silva. Silva gets blocking, gets up to the 30, to the 35. He gets up to the 40. Gets probably brought down at about the 42-yard line. As we check it out here once again, Dylan Silva gets the handoff.